The graduate laboratory's floor plan is seen in the diagram. In this lab, there are two entrances, one near the computer station and the other near the animal sciences room, as shown on the map. There are also 3 offices in front of the computer station, as well as a restroom and a storage room next to the office and storage room. In addition to the animal sciences room, there is also a room dedicated to plant sciences. Finally, the floor plan shows exactly where each room in the graduating laboratory is located. From 1970 to 2000, the graphics depict fitness membership data for men and women. Until the year 1980, the majority of fitness club members were males. If we compare the years 1985 and 1990, we can see that more women chose to join. Throughout the year 1995, men had a much greater membership percentage than women. Nonetheless, in the year 2000, the number of males who joined a fitness club was the lowest. In conclusion, for the time period studied, males were more health concerned than women. The graph depicts the water cycle from snow to icebergs and how it is recycled. According to the graph, we can clearly observe snow, bedrock, and an ice sheet on the left side. According to the graph, the grounding line and ice shelf may be clearly seen in the center. According to the graph, we can clearly observe the melting and warming ocean water at the bottom. According to the graph, we can clearly see an ice shelf and icebergs to the right. As a last note, this diagram depicts the water recycling process from snow to icebergs. The picture depicts a river running between two buildings on either side of it. In the distance, 50-story glass and concrete structures may be seen in the distance. Walking routes and parks line both sides of the river, which has black water. One boat can be seen in the foreground moving along the center of the river. It appears to be the beginning of spring, with a few trees blooming, and to be a modern metropolis in the United States of America. The graph below provides information on how to address an issue. It demonstrates how the procedure is carried out. State the problem, create ideas, and choose a solution are the steps. The first stage, according to this diagram, is to define the problem. The second phase is to produce ideas. After that, the final phase, as shown in this graph, is to choose a solution. This graph also shows that the next step is to construct the item. The next step is to assess the situation. The results must be presented as the final stage. Finally, this graph is quite useful. Non-traditionally published ebooks that do not have ISBNs are included in the pie chart, which illustrates each retailer's percentage of overall US ebook sales. Amazon.com sells 74% of all ebooks, while the remaining 26% are distributed among the other 5 sellers, with Google Play Books and other each accounting for 2% of the market. Overall, Amazon.com sells the most ebooks, while Google Play Books and others sell the fewest. Using this graph, you can see the most common ways of transportation in the past. Between the years 1500 and 1850, horses and bicycles were widely utilized. They were only able to reach 15 miles per hour on average. After 1800, steam-powered locomotives with top speeds of 75 miles per hour began to be deployed. Automobiles have become the primary form of mobility in modern life since the turn of the century. Transportation methods have vastly advanced since the time of Henry VIII. There's a nuclear power plant in the background, and the sky is overcast. In the front, behind a row of trees, the power plant's many concrete chimneys spew white smoke. The sky is mostly foggy, although there are a few patches of blue sky in the distance. An unattractive power station is contrasted against a lovely sky in this striking photograph, which might be located in the United States. This picture shows a live music concert. The crowd is cheering for the musicians and clicking pictures. It seems that they are listening to their favorite band or singers. Both singers are playing their instruments and singing as well. The place seems to be jam-packed. One singer is interacting with the audience. Few girls can be seen in the front and singers are getting a good response from the public. Beautiful, well-played pieces of music can be electrifying. Music has the power to completely change one's mood. It can help someone to laugh or cry, it can make others want to sing or dance along. The chart below displays data on New Zealand's home prices. According to the graph, we can clearly observe that New Zealand has the highest number in 2014, which is approximately 280. The smallest number was recorded in 1992, when there were around 100 people. The graph shows that when looking at the OECD as a whole, the highest figure was approximately 140 in 2008. There were roughly 100 in 1998, which is the lowest number. This graph indicates that property prices in New Zealand have climbed significantly over the past several years. Here is a bar graph showing how much water was used in England's homes in 2004. The bathroom used 28% of the water, followed by the garden at 27%. 10% was utilized in the kitchen and 15% in the bathroom. In terms of water use, the bathroom used the most and the kitchen used the least. Over the course of 5 years, the pie charts show online sales for 4 Canadian retail industries. It's worth noting that food and beverage sales went up by 32% and video game sales went up by 23%, respectively. There has been a decline in the sales of electronics, appliances, and home furnishings, which fell from 25% to 15% and 35% to 30% respectively. Overall, food and beverage sales grew the greatest, while home furnishings sales fell the most. Here's a visual representation of the general makeup of the atmosphere, as represented by the pie chart below. Nitrogen accounts for 79% of the air's composition. 20% of the air is made up of oxygen. It's just 1% of the air that contains other gases like carbon dioxide, argon, or water vapor. Nitrogen makes up the majority of the air we breathe. Thoralby's total population is depicted in the graph below. The graph shows that in 1960, there were roughly 300 people, which is the highest number. According to the graph, the second largest number can be found in 1870, which is around 250. In 1950, there were about 100 people in the world, as can be seen from the graph. When we look at 1890, we can see that there were 200 people. Looking back to the year 2010, we notice that the total was 150. Thoralby's total population is depicted on the graph above. The map represents the grey parrot range in Africa. According to the map, there are 2 grey parrot species were recorded, which include Timneh grey parrot and Congo grey parrot. In terms of the Congo grey parrot, the estimated population is from 560,000 to 12.7 million, while the estimated population of the Timneh grey parrot is only from 12,100 to 259,000. The main range for Congo grey parrot is in the middle part of the Africa, which includes Nigeria, Cameroon, Gabon, and Democratic Republic of Congo. However, the Timneh grey parrots only can be found in small part of Guinea, Liberia, and Côte d'Ivoire. In conclusion, the Timneh grey parrot faces extinction. This graphic contrasts the current state of computers with the state they were in back in the day. A computer from the distant past may be seen on the left. With a little screen in the center, it is fairly huge. A control table sits underneath the display, while speakers-shaped devices adorn the space above it. The computer seen on the right now is substantially smaller than the one depicted. There's a big screen, a keyboard, a mouse, and a computer chip in there somewhere. The picture depicts how computers have shrunk in size while increasing in performance. The line graphs show the average monthly amount that parents in Britain spent on their children's sporting activities and the number of British children who took part in 3 different sports from 2008 to 2014. Parents spent more money each year on their children's participation in sports over the 6 years. In terms of the number of children taking part, football was significantly more popular than athletics and swimming. This map shows the locations of 3 weather radars around Australia. Almost all of Australia's weather radars are high-resolution Doppler radars, and these may be identified by their black diamonds. Those that share a blue square with wind finding are the most rare, and they are found largely in the north. While Doppler radars are the most frequent in Australia, those that are shared with wind findings are the least popular. Using the bar graph, you can see which nations have the most multinational 500 firms. At 130 and 90, respectively, these firms hailed from the United States and China, There are only approximately 10 of these firms in Switzerland, the Netherlands, and Canada, respectively. In general, the United States has the most businesses, whereas Canada has the least number of businesses. The contrast of the essential needs model to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs is shown by the dual picture of a Venn diagram and a triangle. We have a colorful Venn diagram on the left-hand side that depicts 3 essential needs: status, stimulation, and security. From top to bottom, these demands are illustrated as a triangle with examples. Self-esteem and actualization requirements, such as creativity and respect, are at the top, followed by belonging needs, such as friends and family. The security needs, which include freedom from anxiety and physiological necessities like as food, water, and shelter, are represented by the last 2 segments of the triangle. We may deduce that these 2 models provide critical information about our requirements,